Hey everyone, Christina Simmons from Say Yes to Holiness here. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm also a coach, and I'm the host for the Say Yes to Holiness podcast. And I just want to tell you, you're in the right place right now. I just wanted to do this kind of a little bit spur of the moment. I got up this morning and I was praying, and I'd had a lot of people messaging me over the last week and a half as I was doing my Masterclass, but also as we're ending the 40-day challenge that we've been doing in the Say Yes to Holiness Today private Facebook group. And I've also been emailing out those daily challenge emails through the email list. And I had a lot of people that kind of came upon the challenge and then also the masterclass, kind of late. And they're like, darn, I really wish that I had caught on to this, sooner. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to spend some time, and it's going to be quick and it's going to be condensed, super 10,000 foot overview, but also an opportunity for you to ask me any questions when I kind of share with you those 4 secrets to being able to change your life. And the fact is that they're really not secrets, but so often the things that are right in front of us, the things that should be obvious, are the things that we miss out on. So I just wanted to take that time tonight. I'm going to spend about 30 minutes, 25 minutes or so sharing those 4 secrets with you. And then for those of you who want to hang out, I got a little special offer for you. I also want to give away a copy of my book, my new book, so I definitely want to do that as well. So let me make sure that I am watching my page so that way I can see your comments coming in, because I'm using my phone, and sometimes when a comment comes in I'm not able to see the question. So I want to make sure that I'm watching so that way I'm able to pay attention and be able to be attentive to your comments and your questions. So for those of you who are jumping on, again, I'm Christina Simmons. I am the founder of Say Yes to Holiness, and I'm an author, a speaker, a coach, and a spiritual mentor and host of the Say Yes to Holiness podcast. I've been doing a free masterclass this last week, and also finishing up a 40-day challenge. And so I hope everyone has been having a great Labor Day weekend. And that was a part of why it was kind of impromptu, where I was like, hey, a lot of people probably are on holiday, they got different plans and stuff. And I was like, well, people can come back and they can watch, when they're driving back from wherever they've been on holiday. Even with COVID, I know that people are starting to get out there and spend a little bit of time taking those precautions, but still being able to get out and to spend time out, especially because it's been gorgeous weather here where I am in Alabama. And I know that it's been gorgeous weather across a great part of the country this weekend. So I hope that you've been out and enjoying it. I went out and had a bike ride today, and got out and walked the dog. And so anyway, but you're in the right place. And I'm going to be going through, as I said, those 4 secrets for what you are going to need in order to change your life forever. And I hesitate sometimes, to talk about them as secrets. But the fact is that sometimes, as I said before, the obvious, which is right in front of us, and we miss it because we're so focused on the trees, all the things that are going on in life. I know that many times I've been that way. I've been so focused on taking care of my responsibilities as a wife and as a mom, the activities of the kids, the different things that, you have to do for your work. And we get so focused on those things that what happens is that we just get into this grind. We just get into this same-o. And COVID and being in, and having to isolate ourselves and to not do our regular activities, actually it ended up being the equivalent of kind of like a Groundhog Day experience. For those of you who know the old Bill Murray movie, Groundhog Day, it was him waking up and repeating over and over and over again that same day. And what he eventually figured out is that he could change things. He could do things differently. And that is what I'm hoping that these 4 things are going to help you be able to do, is that you're going to be able to start seeing things differently, to have a different perspective, so that that way you can truly change your life and make it the life that you are desiring deep in your heart. And as we are focused upon it, Say Yes to Holiness, to embrace the life that God created you for. He created you for a life that is filled with purpose and with peace and with abundance. And He desires this for you. So I just want to share these things for you and with you, and then we'll go ahead. So for those of you who have jumped on, thanks, again, for joining me tonight in the middle of your holiday weekend. I hope that you find all of this to be of great help to you, so that way you're able to take action and be able to go and get those results to change your life in whatever way that you want to. Although it's Say Yes to Holiness, we focus upon really being able to jumpstart your spiritual life, to really make a change, so that way your spiritual life is dramatically different and is transformed. The fact is that these same principles apply to any aspect of our life. So be it your physical health, your spiritual life, your work life, your whatever it is that you're focusing upon. You might be getting another degree, you might be in school still, whatever it is that you are focused upon and you want to, really be able to master and to be able to transform whatever part of your life, these things will help you. So one of the things that I wanted to start with is the fact that I really have been where you are. My own journey has been one of where I'm all in, or, and 110% in order to try and master something and get ahead. And I did that for so many years. And what would happen is that I would be super passionate and super excited about whatever it was that I was involved in. And then it would kind of get into the same old, and I kind of get bored, and I'd be like, is this it? And then I would find something else and I would engage again. And it was different things, for me throughout my life. It was a lot of it, because I'm an athlete, a lot of it was sports. I did triathlons, I played golf, I ran, I bicycled, so a lot of it was athletic, endeavors that it would be, okay, I want to do an Ironman, so what do I have to do that? Or I want to bike a century, what do I need to do to bike 100 miles? Or, I want to be able to break 80 in golf, what do I need to do that? So all of those different endeavors. Or it was, oh, I want to get my master's degree, and how do I go about doing that? So there was always, that was a goal, but in the fact is that in the process of doing all that, what I realized is that those things weren't bringing me happiness and fulfillment. And eventually what I realized is that some things had to change. And that's what I want to share with you today. So once again, for those of you just jumping on right now, I'm Christina Simmons. I am an author, a speaker, and a coach. And I'm also the host of the Say Yes to Holiness podcast. And what we focus upon here at Say Yes to Holiness is being able to take all of what it is about your faith and be able to have it truly integrated into your daily life so that your life is transformed. So for those of you who are jumping on and joining me, thanks again for doing that. Happy Labor Day weekend. I'm hoping that this is going to help you out, because if some people had told me this, even several years ago, it would have saved me from so much pain and frustration. So let me go ahead and jump right in. But for those of you who stay with me, I'm going to spend about 25-30 minutes max on going through these 4 things, and then I got a little special gift. I'm going to be giving away my my book. So for those of you who hang in, I'm going to be doing that giveaway, and then also a couple of other opportunities. So if you're jumping on and you're excited, give me a little bit of love. Would love that. Give me some emojis. A little bit of thumbs up, and we'll keep moving on. So once again, one of the things is that I made a lot of mistakes in my life, in which I was pursuing goals just for their own sake. And what I realized is that life isn't about getting someplace. Life is about the journey. And what it kind of ties into is the fact that it's not about life is a destination, rather life is the journey. And this is a very fundamental mindset shift. So what's the first secret? The first secret is that you realize that life is a journey. It's not a destination. So your life isn't going to suddenly get better because you do such and so, or you go to a particular place, or you get that promotion. That isn't going to bring happiness and fulfillment to your life. Rather, what will bring happiness and fulfillment to your life is you continuing to grow and to change and to learn and to be enjoying the journey. To understand that it's a process. It's not a program. And that's what I apply in my own, Say Yes to Holiness movement, is the fact of it's a process. It's not a program. So it's not a 30 days and, we pop out the other side cookie cutter. We're all different. And so what's important though is that we cultivate that mindset that is going to allow us to persevere. That's going to allow us to be able to overcome challenges. Hey, Michael, glad to see you. I saw you pop on. So glad that you were able to join me. So for those of you who might not know me, Christina Simmons, Say Yes to Holiness. And I'm speaking about those 4 things that you need in order to transform, to change your life forever. And the first one is mindset. It's about understanding that life is a process. It's a journey. It's not a bunch of goals. Your life isn't going to suddenly get better just because you got that promotion or just because you went on that great vacation that you were planning on. You're always going to feel some emptiness. You're always going to feel some lack of fulfillment because the things of this world aren't what's going to satisfy. Rather, what satisfies us is pursuing the deepest desires of our heart and our mind and pursuing those. And here at Say Yes to Holiness, we talk all the time about the fact that we need to be able to prepare ourselves to be able to embrace the life that God created us for, that life of purpose and peace and abundance. And how do we do that? We do that first by understanding what our purpose is. And our purpose is fundamentally connected to who we are, to whose we are more accurately. And each of us are sons and daughters of God. And because of that, when we understand whose we are, and that we are princes and princesses of the kingdom of the great high king, then what happens is that then his call, his invitation to us to holiness, to become fully who he created us to be, that becomes the great adventure. That becomes the great journey. And our life then becomes an unfolding, an unveiling. That's what discernment is. Discernment is the unveiling of God's will for your life. And when you come to realize that your purpose is to be a unique and unrepeatable sign of his love and mercy in the world, then your life dramatically changes. Your mindset shifts because you begin to have a long-term mindset. You're not looking at the short term. Yes, it's important that we strive to grow each day, that we are trying to become better versions of ourselves. But the fact is that it's not all these temporary things that we're looking to satisfy us. Rather, we're seeing that our life is far bigger. So our mindset, our shifting of our mindset is so important. And when we do that, when we begin to do that, then our second thing that we need is to have a plan. I talk with people about this all the time. We need a plan. And it's not just a plan to get from A to B, but rather it's a plan that we're able to pull out and we're able to just revise what is the A to B this time. And okay, this is the part of the journey that we're on. So if you guys remember back when we were younger, AAA used to have those triptychs, and I remember them because my parents and I, we would go on vacations, we would take trips, And we were living in South Florida at the time, and we would take trips from South Florida, just north of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and we would drive like all the way out to California and back in like 3 weeks or less. But every day we had a portion of the triptych, you know, that AAA would give us. And we'd be sitting there and we'd be like, okay, so we're going from here to here. And then we'd flip the page and it would be like, okay, how many page flips do we have to go today to go 500 miles or 800 miles or whatever it was for that day? But in the same way, at the triptych, it would show us where we had to go that day in order to continue the journey. That's what our plan needs to look like. And there are particular components that always need to be a part of our plan. And what we have to be attentive to are all aspects of who we are, so that way we truly can find that happiness and fulfillment. And there's 6 components within our life that we truly need to be attentive to. The first, of course, is our physical selves. We need to be attentive to our health, and we need to be attentive to how it is that we're eating. We need to our sleep, to our exercise. We need to be attentive to these things. So that needs to be a part of our plan. Another part of our plan that we need to be attentive to is our spiritual life. Our spiritual life needs to be a fundamental part of our plan, whatever that looks like. But I talk to people about, if we want to be intentional and serious about our spiritual lives, then we need to be focusing on daily prayer and meditation, living that life of grace, striving to grow daily in virtue. And the fourth is abandoning ourselves to God's will. But those spiritual goods, we need to be focusing upon them. So our physical goods and our spiritual goods. What's the next thing? Family and friends, human relationships. These are the things that truly matter. When someone is on their deathbed, you rarely ever hear them complain about the fact that they didn't go into work a little bit more. Hey, Maria and Jesus, glad that you guys were able to jump on today. Talking about the 4 things that will help us transform and change our lives forever. And the first was mindset. Having that mindset of the fact that life is a journey, it's not a destination. And the more that we understand that have a mindset that we're to continue, and it's a process. It's not getting just from A to B, but it's getting from A to B in order to continue on. The easier then it becomes that when we run into challenges, when we run into those difficulties that we find in life, then we're able to persevere because we know that it's not just about the goal, it's about the process. And the second now, of course, is talking about having a plan. And what are the things that we need to have that's a part of our life's plan? We need to be attentive to our physical selves, taking care of ourselves physically, need to take care of ourselves spiritually. And third is our family and our friends, those human relationships, those things that truly bring us great joy. And for us to be intentional about spending time and giving time for those. Fourth would be our achievement, our work, the things that tend to take up most of our time, but they shouldn't be at the exclusion of taking care of ourselves and also neglecting God and our family and friends. So our work, our whatever it is, it might be school right now, it might be a job, it might be the fact that you're a stay-at-home mom. There's all sorts of aspects, but whatever it is that is taking up most of your time, and that's your work, that's your daily activities, that's the fourth thing. And then the fifth and the sixth are knowledge and beauty, and these are intricately tied. It's about us continuing to grow, not just knowledge of ourselves, but knowledge of God, knowledge of all of the things that are around us in creation, knowledge that will help us be able to experience all that is true and good and beautiful in the world. And that is what's tied to beauty. So whatever it is that lifts up your soul, that gives you joy. So today I made mention that we went out for a bike ride today. My husband and I, we went out for a bike ride, and we took our dog and we let him run, and it was just beautiful day, absolutely gorgeous. But to be out and to be cycling and to be experiencing nature, that was uplifting. That was beautiful. I love watching great movies. I love reading books. I love wonderful music. I love to listen to music. So all those things, playing video games, whatever it is that brings you joy and happiness in that moment, those are things that help you tap into beauty. So those are things that we need to be attentive to, that are all part of our plan. So our plan needs to be attentive to those 6 aspects: our physical selves, our spiritual selves. Hey Fran, glad to see you. So our physical selves, our spiritual selves, our human relationships, family and friends, our work, our activities, whatever it is that takes up the bulk of our day, and then knowledge and beauty. And these are the things that need to be a part of a plan. So when we have the proper mindset and we have a plan that cares for our whole selves, then what happens is that then we're able to truly find that happiness and fulfillment. But just like I was talking about, we need to be attentive to our human relationships, our family and our friends, in order to be able to journey through this life, in order for us to accomplish whatever goals it might be. So say, for example, you decide that you want to learn how to play the piano. What do? Well, you get someone who can help you, support you in that goal, and then, also you get accountability, someone who's going to keep you practicing. So many times people will go and find a piano teacher, or they'll go out and get a instructional program about how to play piano. There's tons of ways that you can do that now. But the fact is that we need accountability and we need support for anything that we do in this life. When I was training in order to do an Ironman, I spent 4 years getting ready to do that. In the course of that 4 years, I had a coach. I had people that I trained with, even though most of the time I had to do my training on my own because of the hours at which I had to go and swim and bike and run, because I was a mom and wife and also was in the Army Reserves at the time. But I still had training partners. I still had people that were checking on me. I'd go to a race and they would say, "Hey, Christina, how's it going? What's up?" And it was that accountability, but it was also that support that ensured that I was going to keep on my plan towards trying to do an Ironman. And it was 4 years. But the fact is that because I had accountability and I had support, I was able to accomplish that part of my plan right then. So again, I had to have that mindset of it's a process. It's going to take me time. I had to have a plan for that specific, aspect of what it was that I wanted to try and accomplish, which in this case was to do an Ironman. And third, I needed accountability and support. And that's that third secret, accountability and support. So often we do the Benjamin Franklin thing, which is God helps those who help themselves, or we buy into that whole myth of the Lone Ranger, which is that, the Lone Ranger was always on his own and he always took care of things on his own. We forget the fact that the Lone Ranger had Tonto. The Lone Ranger had accountability and support. So we're not to be self-reliant. We're not to be just on our own. Yes, there's a lot of things we do have to do on our own that we have to, step out and to be faithful to and to persevere in. But the fact is that we need accountability and support. And that's secret number 3. To find, to changing your life. If you want to change your life, get that accountability and support. Find that coach. Find that group that are going to support you. Those friends that are going to support you in whatever it is that you desire to do that's in your heart. So mindset and also your plan. And then third is accountability and support. So what's that fourth secret? And I pulled it out of accountability and support because it's a little bit different. And it's to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Now, I'm going to be the first one to tell you that I love a great discussion. I hate people who just say yes, which is ironic since say yes to holiness, right? Okay, so I see the irony. But my point is that I want people that are going to engage and they're going to struggle and wrestle to try and find truth. But to have like-minded individuals who have the same goal. And what I'm talking about here is same like-minded individuals who all say, my goal is to be a saint. That's what Say Yes to Holiness is all about. Say Yes to Holiness community is all about like-minded individuals who all say, yes, I'm going to respond to that call. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to do whatever it takes, and that I'm going to be a saint. God willing. It's always about God's grace, but God willing, I'm going to do my part to make sure that I can be the saint that He created me to be, so that I can embrace the life that He created me for. So that is what is so important, is to find that group of like-minded individuals. And most of us probably have had experience at some point in our lives when we've had that. You know, I've had that in numerous different situations. I had that when I was in the Army, and we, went to the first Gulf War. We went to combat, and we all had a goal. We all had a goal of what our mission was, what we were supposed to be about. I had that experience when I was a part of those triathletes, where all of us were training in order to be able to accomplish this great goal of doing an Ironman. I've had that experience when I've been in a work environment of where we knew that our goal was to, do this particular project, and everybody was focused on making sure that that happened. And it totally transforms what it is that you're about. Because when you're walking and being accompanied and working with like-minded individuals in which we all have the same goal, it's transformative. There's tons and tons and tons of stories out there about, soccer teams that had their one goal was to win the championship for that year, or all sorts of sports teams that they'll have these great stories about how they really came together as a team, and they really had focus. It's amazing when you look at, so back to 2001, and we had the terrorist attacks in September of 9/11, and the fact of that it became the Subway Series, New York Yankees against the New York Mets. Here are two teams from New York, the city that arguably was the hardest hit during the 9/11 attacks, and they're playing baseball, and both teams shared about how important it was for them to do their best in order to give hope to the people of the city who had been so devastated by the Twin Towers, attacks. So it's something where when we surround ourselves with like-minded individuals, not people who are just going to say yes and aren't going to challenge us to become better, but like-minded individuals who have the same goal as we do, have the same vision about what our life should be about, then your life is transformed forever. So what are those 4 secrets? What are those 4 things that will change and transform your life? Again, it's having that mindset. The mindset that life is a journey. It's a process. It's not just I get from here to here, but rather it's about the journey. And when we have that mindset, if it's a process, it's a journey, then we're not going to get discouraged when we run into challenges. We're going to be able to overcome those things that happen. And we're going to be able to continue to progress and to change and to be transformed. But we have to have that right mindset. We can't be going, oh, I didn't accomplish this, so therefore I'm a failure. No. Anytime we run into failure in the world's eyes is an opportunity for us to learn. So when you look at I quote, failed, you either succeed or you learn. That's mindset. So you never fail. Rather, it's an opportunity to learn. That's the kind of mindset we have to have. That will transform your life. The second is you need a plan. And your plan needs to encompass all the things that we need in order for us to be truly happy and fulfilled. And what are those things? We need to be attentive to our physical health, and we need to be attentive to our spiritual life. We need to be attentive to our family and friendships, our human relationships. We need to be attentive to what it is that we're about, be it our work or schooling or our activities or sports. We need whatever it is that takes up the bulk of our time. And we also need to continually be growing in knowledge, so that we can then experience and encounter beauty in our daily life. We need to be able to be attentive to all of these things in our plan of life. That's a second. Third is that support and accountability. When we have someone that is giving us support, they're coaching us, they're helping us, or they're or just a good friend who's supporting us in whatever it is that we're trying to do. It might be trying to get a bachelor's degree, get a college degree, even though we might have be doing it part-time, going to night school, and we got a family and we have a job, but to have that support, but then also that accountability. Somebody who's going to say, hey, Christina, you said that you were trying to get your degree. How is that going? And it's like, well, it's not. Come on, I know that this is really important to you. This is something that I know that you're really passionate about. Accountability and support will transform and change your life forever. And what's the fourth? Finding that group of like-minded individuals who have a similar vision and understanding of what life is about. And here at Say Yes to Holiness, for example, our life, our vision, our goal, our like-minded individuals are all about saying yes to holiness, saying yes to that call to be a saint. So those are those 4 things that can change your life if you embrace them, if you are intentional about putting them into place in your life, in whatever way that you do it. It doesn't just have to be with your spiritual life. It can be any aspect of your life. And that's why I say that there are four secrets that will change your life forever. So I hope that you found this to be of great value, that you now have, the thing, what you need in order to go out and take action and get some results. And I want to thank you for jumping on and spending time with me. But I also want to know how much I'll be rooting for your success. And then the other is the fact that I wanted to go ahead and give away a copy of my book, because a lot of what I speak about, particularly for the spiritual life, is in my new book, Say Yes. So Discovering Purpose, Peace, and Abundance in Daily Life. And so I'd love to be able to give away a free book. So if you'd like a copy of that free book, just go ahead and pop in the comments and just say yes. Get it? Say yes. And then you can message me your address, and I'll send you a copy of my free book. And in addition, I also wanted to let you know that what we have going on right now within Say Yes to Holiness is an opportunity. Hey, Kathy, great. So Kathy, go ahead and message me with your address, and I'll make sure to get this into the mail to you on Tuesday, and you'll have it by the end of the week. So awesome. Those fingers were flying. Way to go, Kathy. So I'm glad that you're going to get that free book. So since you are here, I wanted to also share about a special opportunity that we have here at Say Yes to Holiness. And it all comes out of what we've just been talking about. It comes out of the fact that in order for us, especially within our spiritual lives, we need all of those things that I just talked about. We need to cultivate that proper mindset. We need to develop a proper spiritual plan of life. We need to have accountability and support. And particularly, we need to have that group of like-minded individuals who are going to be spurring us on as we are striving for holiness. So one of the things that I've noticed, and I can speak to this myself, for years, you could even a couple of decades, there's tons of programs that are available out there. There's Bible studies, there's read this book, and my book is great, and there's discussion questions that go with it, and I have a workbook, and that's all great. But unless we can take all of what we learn here and bring it so that we can integrate it into our daily life, it's not going to transform us. And that was one of the things that I would get really frustrated about, is also as I'd be working with people. Hey, Carolina, glad you were able to jump on. So one of the things that I realized is that it's not a one shop. It's not a one size fits all, that's necessary, but rather we need to have customizable components. And so what I've done is that I've created the Camino. And what the Camino is that it's an opportunity for a small group of us, and that's because I'm committing to working, with this small group and walking with you guys for the next year. Now, you might be going, oh my gosh, a year is way too long. There's no way that I can make that kind of commitment. Well, what I'm going to challenge you to think about, though, is the fact that God continues to call you. He's calling you right now. Are you going to listen? And you don't worry about, gee, what's going to happen 6, 7, 8, 9 months from now. But rather, you worry about today and you let God take care of tomorrow. One of the things that we just need to do on the spiritual journey is to say yes. That's where, it comes from for me. Say yes to holiness. But we just say yes, and then we allow God to work with the desires of our heart. And if it's on your heart that you truly want to take your spiritual life to the next level, if you really want to see your life be transformed, and you do it from the inside out, the Camino will help you do that. The Camino is, as I said, it's a small group. It is designed in order, we're going to move through, and we will have kind of we will have an azimuth is the best way to describe it. So we're going to get in the boat together, okay? So we'll use the analogy of a boat. So all of us as a small group will get in the boat and we'll set out on an azimuth, okay? And we'll use my book just kind of as a guide in order to have a starting point, a foundation upon which to then begin our journey together. So we're going to be talking about what are those things that we need to do in our life in order to find that deep purpose. And we're going to do some things, use some tools that I'm going to make available to you. Things like the MCOR, and which is an assessment to help you determine, discover your core motivations. To use things like Unhackable, which is a program, but it's done within the context of being able to help us be able to identify and be able to then cultivate the habits that we need in order to be able to be extremely focused and have great clarity about what our purpose is. We're going to, speak about some of those things, but I'm going to be doing review sessions. I'm going to be, so we'll be meeting twice a month as a small group, through Zoom, and then we'll also on those other weeks I'll be in touch with you via email asking, okay, how are your resolutions going? How are your goals going? What is it that you need right now? So it's customizable and giving you some things that, it's not like I'm not going to tell the group about, if I suggest a book, for example, but it would be particular to you that I would be suggesting these things. And into the midst of that, every week you will be getting a you'll be getting a particular video from me with content each and every week. So each week you're going to get like a 10-minute video from me. I'm going to be talking about a topic, and then we're going to, you'll have a couple of exercises, something to do with that topic in order to go deeper with it. And then we'll go ahead and those bi-monthly Zoom sessions, I can't speak tonight. We'll then discuss them a little bit more. In the interim, you're going to have an accountability partner. You're going to have a prayer buddy. You're going to have someone that you're going to be partnered with who's going to be in the group. That will be your first reach out. So in other words, you can post, to everybody in the group and say, hey, I need this prayer. But you can reach out to this particular person, and we're each going to commit that for that particular person, I'm going to be your prayer warrior. So when you ask me to pray for you, for example, and you're my prayer buddy, then I'm going to, definitely be praying. It's not just going to be I'll add it to my prayer intentions, but we're going to truly intercede. And we're going to make that commitment to one another, because we're going to hold one another accountable to our resolutions for us to be able to grow and to be putting into place those habits that we need in order to have a truly transformed spiritual life. We'll be working on implementing those 4 steps to holiness that I have talked about before. And those 4 steps are daily prayer and meditation, living that life of grace, particularly by frequenting the sacraments, striving to grow in a life of virtue, and abandoning ourselves to God's will. And what does that look like? How is that integrated into your daily life? Developing a plan of life. That will be something that will be, that you'll have the tools and the skills you need, so that after this year, you'll be able to go back and you'll be able to adjust and to modify. And it doesn't matter what's going to happen in your life, but you know how to do an assessment and how for you to then say, okay, I'm doing okay here, but I'm not so great here, and here's an opportunity. But I know that this might prevent me from doing that. So being able to adjust and be able to create those resolutions, those SMART goals that are going to help you be able to continue to grow in the future. In addition, going to be able to help you be able to identify those things that you need in your life and to begin to implement them. I call them the hidden gems. The hidden gems of our faith in particular, and we'll be talking about those, and we'll be, talking about what is real friendship and growing into that. We'll be talking about theology of the body. Who are we as men and as women? We'll be talking about, what it is that is our personal mission, that we're unique and unrepeatable, and what's our personal mission? What does that look like in our lives? And helping us be able to get that clarity and focus. So all of those different things are components of the Camino over the course of the year. But if this is something, that really touches your heart, and you're like, yeah, I really want to go deep, I really would like to do that, then I invite you to check out the Camino, which is at www.sayyes-to-holiness.com/El Camino, ELCAMINO. So check it out. In fact, I can put it in the chat, and let me do that. See if I can type at the same time as I am talking to you all, so that way you've got it. I think I did. I think I got it in the chat there. So hopefully, there we go. I think that is correct even. Wow, I didn't mistype. I'm impressed with myself. So anyway, but check it out. It might be exactly what God is calling you to right now, that He's asking you to draw closer to Him, to come to get to know Him better, so that way you can become more fully who He created you to be, so that you can experience that life of purpose and peace and abundance. But at a minimum, get a copy of my book and put it to use. As I said, there's discussion questions and workbook for those who had bought the book on my website at sayyes-to-holiness.com and had bought the package deal. Those questions and the workbook will be sent out this week, and then for those who didn't, they'll be available to purchase for a small cost. But they're digital downloads, and at a minimum is one way that you can take a step forward. If you buy now, if you sign up, to be a part of the Camino, and all that means is if you go to the sayyes-to-holiness.com /El Camino, and you go and you just set up a 15-minute consultation with me, then what that'll do is that when we're talking, I'll send you some other bonuses. I've got a lot of books, I got a lot of videos, got a lot of audio talks that can help you on the journey. So whatever it is that is best for you. I know some people love to read, like myself, but other people would prefer to listen. So I would prefer to send you something that you're going to actually enjoy, rather than you just get a bonus to get a bonus. And so, but I have, have all sorts of resources that would definitely love to share with you, and give them to you. So as I've been talking, you guys got any questions? One of the things, make sure you put them in the chat. And is any of this of value to you? Has those 4 secrets, is that of help to you? Is that giving you clarity and purpose? That's the kind of thing that I do within my work at Say Yes to Holiness. I strive to be able to help people be able to get that clarity and focus, to be able to go out and to live that life of purpose. I try to help people be able to incorporate the 4 steps to holiness into their life, because that is the key to us encountering peace. And then finally, I help people be able to put into place those tools that God has already put into our lives, but so often we don't take the time or aren't intentional about making sure that they're a part of our life. We're not making sure that we are really being intentional about our friendships. We're not being intentional about, being formed within the mind of the church. We're not being, intentional about having a spiritual mentor or director. We're not being intentional about our relationship with Mary, and, understanding how all of that comes together. So those are the things that we try to do. You might be saying, gee, what's the price? Very simply, it's pay what you want. I don't do this for money. I do this in order to help others. So if you have a desire that you want to do this, it's not about money. It's about, what is your desire? Do you want to make this commitment? And if you do, then set up a consultation and let's talk. Okay? It's not about the money. It's about each of us has something precious to give to one another in a small group, and that is what we give to one another. I will challenge you to at least make a commitment of what you're able to, okay? Each of us is given different resources, but it's pay what you want. There's no price, on our spiritual life. And it's just something of where the whole reason for having any kind of commitment is so that we are committed, that we have sacrificed something. Mother Teresa of Calcutta often would say, give until it hurts. And what she meant is that we should give from our need, not from our want. Now, that doesn't mean that we should be taking food off the table, okay, when we have to provide for our families, but rather it should make us a little uncomfortable. We shouldn't be comfortable tossing the $2 into the collection plate. Rather, if it's uncomfortable for us to put $4 in the collection plate, then that's what we should be doing. That's what Mother Teresa was trying to get at, was that it's when we're uncomfortable, when we're stepping out in faith, that is when the opportunity for greatest growth and change and transformation happens. So just get on. Go again to www.sayyes2holiness.com/El Camino, ELCAMINO. It's in the chat. Just go to there, check it out. If this is something that's touching your heart in any way, shape, or form, if you're a person that you need help in getting that clarity and focus, if you know that you're someone who needs that accountability and support so that you can be, putting those 4 steps to holiness into practice, that daily prayer and meditation, or, getting better at striving to grow in virtue each day, making sure that you're living that life of grace. If you know that you are a person that would benefit from having, weekly videos sent to you about a topic, about the faith and the spiritual life so that you can continue to grow. If you know that having a small group of people to be able to talk about these things would be of benefit to you, then sign up for a consultation. Let's talk. I want whoever it is that the Holy Spirit's prompting your heart and your mind, this is what I want for you. So please do this and take that step. Take that step in faith. Anytime that we take that step in faith, God rewards us abundantly. So again, I hope that you have benefited from this time together tonight. It is a holiday weekend still, so I hope that you really enjoy tonight and tomorrow, and you sleep in tomorrow and enjoy your day. And again, if you're interested in the Camino, go to www.sayyestoholiness.com/El Camino, ELCAMINO. If you aren't sure about the Camino, but you want to take advantage of, for example, the MCOR assessment that I briefly talked about finding out what your core motivations are, you can go to sayyestoholiness.com and click on movement. And there you can scroll down and you can see the MCOR assessment. You click on it and you can sign up and you can do that assessment, and that's something that you can do on your own. If you want to have a review session with me, there's an opportunity, to be able to sign up for that as well. So that's something that you could do. But just take a step. Take one step and move forward. I'm going to be having a book discussion group about my book that's going to start up in October. It's going to be very laid back. It's only going to be a once a month kind of thing, but do something, continue your journey. God desires for you to come closer to Him, to come to know Him and love Him, just as He knows and loves you beyond measure. So do something. Take that step. Check out the Camino. Check out, sayyestoholiness.com. Get a copy of my book. There's lots of ways that you can take those steps so that you can change your mindset. Transform that mindset so that you know that this is about a journey, so that you can create that plan in your life so that you're able to find that happiness and fulfillment. Find that accompaniment and that support, that accountability and that support, and then, find that group of like-minded individuals. If it's not at Say Yes to Holiness, find that group. Find that group that's going to inspire you, encourage you, and is going to accompany you to be the saint that you are supposed to be. All of us are to be living, breathing, wonder-working saints. This is what God created us for. This is what we're living for. So what is in your heart, respond to that desire. God placed it there. He wants to know you and love you even more fully. He wants you to come to know and love Him ever more deeply. So I invite you, go to sayyestoholiness.com/El Camino or the movement. Check it out. Get my book. Sign up. Do something. Change your life today by doing the things that you need to do. I'm here for that consultation to talk about next steps. I'm here in order to help you however I can. If you want to sign up just for my email list, you can do something simple, which is right now, if you're not already on my email list, go ahead and text Say Yes to Holiness. All one word, all one phrase. Say Yes to Holiness, and text it to 66866. So text Say Yes to Holiness to 66866, and it immediately will prompt you with your email, and then you'll be on my email list. So again, Say Yes to Holiness, all one word, 66866. That gets you on the email distribution, so you'll get my newsletter, which goes out every Monday. Next one will go out tomorrow morning, and you'll be getting notified anytime I post a blog, a podcast, a YouTube video, any of that. So you got the Say Yes to Holiness podcast, got the Say Yes to Holiness YouTube channel. So lots of opportunities for you to continue to grow in your love and knowledge of our Lord. And this is what He wants. He wants you to come and to walk with Him, and so that you can enjoy and embrace fully that life of purpose, peace, and abundance that He created you for. So if you got any more questions for me, I would love to hear them. But again, go to www.sayyestoholiness.com. Check out the Camino, El Camino, ELCAMINO, or the movement, and check out all the different options that you got there to get involved. Or if you just want to get on the email list to know of everything that's coming, text Say Yes to Holiness to 66866. Thank you again. I loved spending this time with you. Have a great remainder of Labor Day weekend. I'm Christina Simmons, and I hope that you will continue to do whatever it takes so that together we can tell the Master of Death, not today. God bless. Happy weekend.